students, I welcome you all to the session 4 of the subject Computer Concepts and C Programming. In the previous session, we learned about algorithm, which is also called as a design tool. In algorithm, you learned how you model a problem by writing down steps. We also solved some of the examples which are very fundamental in nature. In this session, we are going to look into one more design tool which is called as flowchart. Before I introduce you to this topic, let's take a simple example. Consider that you want to travel from City Bus Stand to MIT First Grade College and you don't know the route. So what I do is I give you the route in words about how to reach here, and also I will give you a map. Which one do you prefer? Obviously, you will be more giving preference to the map, because map is nothing but a graphical representation which is easy for you to understand, whereas textual information is difficult for us to understand. There is a saying, images speaks better than the words. So with this, if you have understood, we come to know what you mean by flowchart. Flowchart is nothing but a pictorial representation of the algorithm. That's the fundamental definition. It is also called as graphical representation of the algorithm. Okay, so you're not going to use any of the graphics or symbols of your choice. You're going to use graphics or symbol which are predefined in nature. So that means you're going to use standard symbols to construct a flowchart. Now we will see some of the basic symbols which are used in flowchart. So the very first symbol is an oval shaped symbol which is called as a terminal. This symbol you use to represent a start or stop of a process, that is starting and ending of a flowchart. So inside this you are going to write down either start or stop. Also you can use this symbol to write down the name of the module or a subprogram or subroutine. Okay. The next symbol is a arrow symbol, which is nothing but flow lines. This symbol is used to represent the flow of events. The next symbol is nothing but a parallelogram. This is used to represent input and output. Suppose you are supplying any input to the program or to the problem, then you are going to use this symbol. If the program or the problem is giving an output, you are going to use the parallelogram. The next symbol is a rectangle. This is used to represent a process. Computation. For example, sum is equal to a plus b. So this one you are going to write down in this particular rectangular box. Next, we are going to look into some more. Since we don't have much space, I'll erase all these things. The next symbol is a diamond symbol, which is used to represent a decision. Students, decision is nothing but a question. So that question test will be taken over here. It contains one input arrow and two output arrow. So these two output arrow are Boolean in nature, which means it will have either true or false. So if it is true, the flow will go from this end. If it is false, based on the decision, the flow will go from this side of this arrow. Next, we have these symbols which are called as connectors. To be specific, it is called as in-page connector. Why do we require connector? Whenever you are drawing or creating the flowchart, the flowchart will run into many pages, or in the page, if you have taken a big sheet, in the page you have to write on the continuation in multiple places considering the real estate of the page. So to represent the continuation of the flow, you use the connectors. Inside the connectors, in order to connect the respective linkage, you have to use specific labels. You can use alphabets A, B, C like that, or you can use any kind of symbols. Next, you have one more kind of connector, which is called as off-page connector. This connector is used if the flowchart is going in multiple pages. If you are taking multiple pages to write the flowchart, then you are going to use this for establishing the connection. So here you have to write the name of the page and the process. So which means that go to 2A, and this A came from 1. Okay, like this you have to represent. So second page, go to the A connector. So this A connector is there in the second page in order to continue using flow lines, and this came from page number 1. The next symbol is a rectangle with 2 lines in it. So this symbol is used to represent a subroutine or a subprogram, or also called as a module or a function. So these are alias name for subroutine. So you are going to write down here the name of the subroutine. Students, when you are going to use this? You are going to use this when you are using functions in your program. When you are going for top-down design, that is nothing but structured programming, wherein you are going to break down a big problem into smaller problems, then you are going to use these kind of symbols to represent the modules or the functions. What the basic activity of this function is, this function, what it does is it computes and gets back the result, which means that a function is nothing but set of instructions to do a particular task. Suppose you have written a function to compute square root of a number. Here you are going to write down just the name of the function and pass the input. So this function will be written in a separate flowchart. That flowchart will have the steps to compute the square root, and then ultimately after this it will substitute the result in this particular place. So these are the basic symbols that we use for representing the flowchart. I hope you have understood this. Now we will look into the advantages and disadvantages of flowchart. Students, when I explained to you about the program development life cycle, I told you about the documentation. This documentation is nothing but here you are going to prepare some documents which can be user documents or technical documents. Flowcharts serves as a very good documentation tool to represent the program. So that is the first advantage. Next, when I explained to you about that example, you took a decision whether to follow the graphical map or the textual instructions. What did you take? You took the decision of graphical map to go from point A to point B. So, because it is easy to understand. So, the advantage second is it is easy to analyze. So, these are the advantages of flowchart. Now we'll see some of the disadvantages of flowchart. So students, now we can see a lot of good number of advantages of using flowchart. What might be the disadvantages? The very first disadvantage is if you are representing a complex problem using flowchart, it is very difficult. So it is difficult to represent complex problem. So using the symbols, it will be very difficult for you to represent a complex problem or a logic. Next is, it is difficult to manage. Manage in the sense, modifications will be difficult. Suppose you want to do any changes, then you need to restructure the entire flowchart. Then it is time consuming. Since you have to create this graphical chart using some tools like MS Word. So students, these are the disadvantages of flowcharts. Now it's time to draw the flowcharts by working out some examples. I will be taking the same example which we took while discussing the algorithm, so that there will be correlation in learning. First, we'll take flowchart to add two numbers. Terminal to represent start and stop. Then input, accept N1 and N2. No need to write accept and all. Just if you write or mention N1 and N2, that's sufficient. Then you need to compute the sum. For that, you need to use the rectangle. Sum is equal to N1 plus N2, and then display the results. Again, you're going to use the parallelogram and say display sum, and then lastly end the flowchart by using a terminal. You can say stop or end. So this is the flowchart to add two numbers. Now we'll take the next example. The flowchart to compute simple interest. So it's also very fundamental problem and very easy. Start, accept the input. Here there are three inputs, P, T and R. Same as your addition of two numbers. SI is equal to P into T into R divided by 100, and then display the output, that is SI, and then end the flowchart using a terminal stop. So now we'll take one more example. Flowchart to check a number is odd or even. Begin the flowchart with terminal, that is start symbol, and then accept the input using a parallelogram. So here only one number, just accept n, and then you need to take a decision, that is nothing but a diamond. What is that? If n percentage 2 equal to 0. So you are checking whether after division by 2, if the remainder is 0 or not. So here we will get 2 Boolean arrows, one for representing false, one for representing true. If it is true, then the number is even, use the parallelogram. If the number is not 0, then it is a odd number. Connect these two like this and stop or terminate the flowchart. So this is flowchart to check whether a number is even or odd. Next, we'll take one more example, flowchart to display greatest of 3 numbers. So begin with the start, input 3 numbers A, B and C. First, as explained in the algorithm, first you need to compare whether A is greater than B, and then if it is true, again take a decision, check whether A is greater than C. If it is true, then obviously A is greater or largest. If it is false, C is largest. Now you need to check one, if A is not greater than B, then if it is false, then you need to check whether B is greater than C. If it is true, then B is greatest. If it is false, then C is greatest. Connect all this and terminate the flowchart. Okay, so this is an example where you are using multiple decision symbols and constructing the flowchart. Once again I am going to explain. Accept the input 3 numbers A, B, C. First check whether A is greater than B and then check whether A is greater than C if it is true. If this also turns out to be true, then obviously A is greater, else obviously C will be the greatest or largest. If A is not greater than B, then we need to take a decision whether B is greater or C is greater. So in this case, if it is true, then B is greatest, else C is greatest. Then terminate the flowchart by using the stop symbol. So students, in this session we learnt about flowchart, its advantages and disadvantages, and we solved some good number of examples. When we are learning C programming, again we are going to revisit algorithm and flowchart as we learn decision making, looping, all those kinds of statements, programming construct. We are going to solve algorithms as well as flowchart for the same. Thank you.